to the Hamilton County Coaches Show. I'm Perry Williams, and it's playoff time in Indiana. And last week, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A kicked off, and we were at Sheridan, of course, to see the great Bud Wright coach over there. It's unbelievable. But today I got with me the Noblesville High School head football coach, Jason Simmons. Welcome, Jason.
I appreciate it. Jason,
you know, I will have to say I want to touch on this a little bit. We'll talk about the game coming up, but it was really kind of fun to go over there and watch 1A football and see those kids going both ways. And you know, a lot of people make a lot of comments about how great Bud Wright's running backs are. But them big old boys he's got up front now for 1A football, they got some. They can move those holes, you know, and most of those kids probably haven't spent a lot of time in the weight room, but they probably been throwing bales of hay in a wagon since they were old enough to pick one up. So
yeah, there's no question.
No strong.
And you look over the history to be a head football coach for 600 games is a remarkable feat. Coach Wright obviously is not only a legend in the state of Indiana, but he's a first-class person.
Yeah, he is.
You know, we have the fortune during the season to see each other every Monday and get an opportunity to sit down with him and just listen to him speak. He's great to be around. It's a heck of an accomplishment. I know he's not done. No. So I wish him nothing but the best through the tournament run. If there's one game that I was going to go to last Friday, it would have been that one for sure.
Yeah.
So I just watched it from home.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous night.
It was a beautiful night. Beautiful night.
Well, let's talk a little bit about 6A football, and the format's changed a little bit as far as who's in our sectional and who's not in our sectional. So it's a little bit different this year. In that top bracket in sectional 4, it's Westfield and Lafayette Jeff.
Yep.
And in that bottom bracket is Carmel and Noblesville. Of course, we play Carmel, but the top bracket, it's kind of split up here a little bit different this year. As Southeastern and Fishers are no longer in our sectional, so it's going to be a little bit different for us.
It was neat when it came out in the springtime when they released the classifications. You could put those 32 teams on a map and start to figure out several different ways that they could spin it, and we certainly knew that with 5 Hamilton County teams there was a chance that obviously one of us had to go. And so it could have been us, it could have been Carmel, it could have been Hamilton, Southeastern, and Fishers. And, it's Sectional 4 is exciting with Westfield and Lafayette Jeff. You look at Coach Shanley at Lafayette Jeff's having a tremendous season so far. His kids are really playing well up there. Coach Gilbert at Westfield, we saw week 3. We saw those guys week 4. And then, we saw Coach Hebert and the Greyhounds week 2. So it's certainly a competitive sectional. You got 3 teams in the top 35 of the state of Indiana in the Sagarin rating. And it's certainly going to be 2 fun games to decide the winner.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about the one thing going in this game. We played Carmel. We played them in week 2, right?
Yep.
So, I kind of feel. I'm not sure. I haven't watched much video on Carmel. I know you have, hours upon hours, and your coaching staff. But I know watching us that. We have the potential that I think that we've got better at certain areas and we got healthier. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think when you and sorry to cut you off.
No.
For us, it's can we just put a full game together in all 3 phases? We've shown flashes of playing really good offensively. We've shown flashes of playing really good defensively. I feel like our special teams play has been a highlight for us the entire season. With Jack and Chase, handling the punting and kicking duties. Grant Christie and Andy Cleverly have been consistent, snappers for us. Can we put all 3 phases together one time? And there's no better time to do it than when the IHSA tournament starts. And so, we've spent a bunch of time looking at Carmel, and our staff has put a bunch of time into it. Our kids have put a bunch of time into it. Now the question is, can we spin this ahead to Friday and put those snaps together on Friday night?
Now, Coach, let's talk a little bit about Carmel. What do you think possibly will basically the same game, they'll run the same game they had in week 2. Hadn't been many changes as far as
they've changed a little. They've changed a little personnel wise offensively. You know, they have a different quarterback right now with Quigley taking the snaps back there. They're not going to change. You know, Carmel football is Carmel football. There's a reason they've had the success they've had. There's a reason they made the tournament run they did a year ago in 6A. They're going to show up and play great defense. They're going to be really sound, really fundamental. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to tell you they're going to force you to beat them. And offensively, you know, they have settled into pounding the football and just chipping away at opponents and taking some timely shots in the passing game. And so you turn the film on, and it doesn't look any different than any Carmel team that we've seen over the last several years. You know, obviously we've drawn them in the sectional for the 3rd straight year, or you know, for 3 out of the last 4 years, excuse me. And they're going to force us to beat them. And so the question is, are we going to grow enough in the bye week and this week in the areas of discipline, in the areas of initial movement, in the areas of pre-snap recognition to give ourselves a chance? You know, and that's what our emphasis has been the last week and a half now.
I think touch on a little bit of what you said about Carmel. You know, Kevin Wright was there before he went to IMG, and it's very unusual. This is the first time that I've ever known Carmel not to go outside their program and hire a coach. Okay, so you know, obviously, in my mind, Jim Inskeep and that crew over there is top notch, and he understands the game very, very well. And the decision they made there, why go after somebody and do it a different way when you got something over there that works? Why try to fix it? So, you know, Coach Ebert got that opportunity and been there for a long time as an assistant coach.
You know, he's been fortunate enough to learn under some great head coaches.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, before Coach Wright, you know, they had Coach Moriarty there. Before that, Coach Fiedler, who was the last internal hire that they had, who was, you know, Coach Bell's defense coordinator. And so, you know, Coach Hebert's not only learned from some great head coaches, but you could tell he built what he wanted it to look like along the way. And so, you know, now that he has the reins and he's been in the reins, he's grown in that role. You know, we had an opportunity to talk like most head coaches before a game, week 2, and you know, just to watch their tournament run from a distance, you could tell not only were they playing confident, but they had settled into their roles as a coaching staff, and they were owning those things. You turn the 6A state championship game on from a year ago. Their defensive game plan helped them. You know, they had the offensive weapons to move the ball on Center Grove and to score points, and they certainly did that. But you look at the defensive game plan and how they defended Center Grove, and I made the comment afterwards. They won that game because they outcoached them, and that's what their staff does. Their staff not only develops a great game plan, but they adjust as the game goes on, and they make good halftime adjustments. And you know, that's what we challenged our staff with on Sunday. Like, you know, we have Plan A. Now, what does Plan B look like for us? What are we going to have in our pocket at halftime that we can go to, that we've gotten practice reps for, that our kids are confident in? All of those things have to happen. And with the bye week in 6A during that week 10, it's really given us an opportunity to not only look at Carmel, but to look at ourselves and say, what do our kids do well? What can our kids do well enough here in this game on Friday night to put us in a position to win it?
And I think, you know, the one thing that we've faced here at Noblesville for a long time, and me being a longtime fan, is the stigma of it's Carmel, okay? But the one thing that I've seen you preach all season long is, you know, we're playing the game of football, okay? If you make the proper reads, if you do, you know, you make the cuts, you see the field, okay? You're going to win a football game. And it's not, it doesn't matter if it's a Carmel, a Warren Central, a Southeastern, Fishers, Westfield. If you play to your capability and to your ability, you're going to win a football game.
You know, I think there are a lot of ways to go win a game, and one of those ways is just by showing up and getting off the bus. And there are teams that win games just by showing up and getting off the bus. And so much of that is just the mentality that's developed in kids from the time that they first start playing. And you know, you look at Carmel, and it drives me crazy when our student section chants that they hate Carmel. There's nothing to hate. You know, there's nothing to hate. It's not like they're poor sports. It's not like they're coaches. There's nothing to hate. just because they win doesn't mean you hate them. What we ought to be doing is finding out why they do what they do and what makes them successful. And it's discipline, it's doing what they believe in, but it's also building that winning mindset from the time that they start playing football. And so much of that it comes from having a true program and building a true program, which is what we're in the process of doing right now. It's not about hating Carmel. It's about what makes them go, what makes them successful. And there's not a lot of secrets there. They do things, quote unquote, whatever the right way is. They're doing things the right way. But they're kids, when they take the field, expect to win. And that's a little bit of a difference right now. We're working on that mindset in our program. There's no question. We need to get our kids to the point that we expect to win every time we take it. The way we can build that belief is in preparation. Are we doing everything that we can in preparation to put our kids in a position to be successful? Then if we do that in preparation, then we can start to have success on the field, which then builds that sense of winning as soon, expecting to win every time they take the field. And it's not about hating Carmel. They've had a system in place for a long, long time. Those state championships they've won have spanned the years, and so for us, it's about building this thing. And we're going to do everything we can to put ourselves in a position to be successful and to win this football game on Friday.
Now, how do you feel about the Millers this coming week? As far as most people are as healthy as you can be in week 10, okay, but it seems like that we're in probably a little bit better shape than we have been in the past.
Yeah, I think we are. We got a couple guys nicked up today in practice, so hopefully Pete can work his magic on those guys. But I feel like we gave our kids a couple days off last week, and just for us that was a time for our staff to spend some time together in preparation. Let our kids get away from it for a little bit. For us, I felt like our kids needed to get away for a little bit. Our coaches could dig in and work and prepare. We're, knock on wood, we're getting healthier by the day. We have some guys that will be out, but it's guys that we've anticipated being out, and so guys that we've played without for a while. So for us, we're as healthy as we've been in a couple weeks, and so we're certainly excited about the opportunity that we have.
Absolutely. Coach, game time 7 o'clock, right?
Game time 7 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah, and Hamilton County TV will be broadcasting.
We're gonna have some true fall weather.
Yeah. It's going to be like football weather.
It's going to be football weather on Friday. We're getting a little bit of a taste of it right now with Tuesday and Wednesday. With those temperatures, but it finally feels like fall. But I was talking to our coaches last night. You look at the history of Indiana football, and certainly been through this as a player. I've been through it as a coach. It always seems like the first week of sectionals, the weather's pretty good. Second week of sectionals, traditionally, it's been a little iffy. And then you had sectional championship. I remember a lot of sectional championship nights that were just gorgeous fall nights. And so, we're going to take whatever Mother Nature throws at us on Friday, and we're going to load up and certainly go play the hardest we can.
Yeah, because we got to realize both teams are going to face the same adversity
as
far as the weather.
The weather's going to be the same for both.
Yeah, it'll be the same for both. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time out and especially explaining some of those things about building this culture here, because you're actually in year 2 of coaching the Millers, and the staff has changed, and the one thing about it, you have new coaches, yet you still have some of your older coaches that have been around for a while, but great programs in 6A. Those coaches have been together for a while and they know each other. So you're right, we're building little building blocks over here, and we got to continue to do that to be successful.
No question. I appreciate it. Not only just what you guys do for us, but what you guys are doing for the sport of football in Central Indiana too. It's certainly invaluable as the product on the field grows. We're able now to showcase that to more and more people around the country.
Absolutely, and I think slow but sure. I think football is becoming a big time sport in the state of Indiana.
No question. It's going to outdraw. It'll be the top money maker again this year.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck on Friday night. And
thank you very much.
To beat the Greyhounds.
Thank you.